Right, okay, you alright? How you doing, you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Good.
fine, thanks.
Thanks for coming in, Audrey. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Yeah, everything okay?
Mhm.
Good stuff. Okay, so we're here for your 6-month review. Alright, this is your 6-month review appraisal of myself. We're going to talk around your KPIs and a little bit about yourself as we go through. I might ask a few questions myself, just to talk about how things are going, and then at the end we'll just summarise and see we can set some targets for you going forward. All right.
Okay.
So let's start things off. So how do you think the last 6 months have gone then?
Well, I've been a little bit disappointed with my performance over the last 6 months. It's not up to my usual high standard. So obviously I am disappointed with that.
Okay. So what would you put that down to then? What do you feel that's come down to?
Well, there's a number of things. As you're aware, my parents passed away quite close together.
Yeah, sure.
And then obviously I was asked to move teams.
Yeah.
I was moved out of my comfort zone into the beauty team, which, to be honest, is not really something I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So yeah, you put down to a little bit about me and move. So we moved you, what was it, about 8 months ago now, was it?
yes.
Okay. Do you understand the reasons why we asked you to move in the first place?
Oh yeah, I understand the reasons. I've always been a high performer. I've got maturity on my side.
Yeah.
So I do understand the reasons why I was told to move across.
Sure. Okay, fair enough then. Obviously, you've been working there now for 8 months. How do you feel that the training's been? Do you feel like you've had enough training?
Yeah, I'd say the training has been fine. It's just it has been hard because beauty isn't really my forte, if you like.
Okay.
I've worked in the medical department for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's something I have an interest in.
Yeah.
So
sure.
it makes it easier to sell and talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit around, the product itself's not something that you're really sort of into, and that could have been a little bit of the reasons why we've not seen the performance like we used to in the medical side. Okay, fair enough. What about the team that you work with at the moment? And how do you feel that you're getting on with the team within the beauty side of the business?
Well, again, there's quite a bit of age difference between me and my colleagues.
Okay.
As you know, I'm 41, and the closest person to my age is 26. So we've not got an awful lot in common. They like to go out the weekend, whereas, I've gone past that a little bit. I don't really share many interests with them, so sometimes I feel a little bit secluded.
Okay.
And maybe, they don't understand your background and...
Sure. Okay, fair enough. There's nothing in there that we need to be concerned about, is there? Is the team okay with you generally, though?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do have a little bit of a snigger behind my back and things, but they're young and we haven't got anything in common really, so something to be expected, I suppose.
Okay, fair enough then. Okay. So what was the relationship like with the team in the medical side? How did that go then?
Well, I had a very good relationship with them. Obviously, I worked there for over 4 years. They were like my extended family. They were closer to my age group. We had similar interests.
Okay.
It was a lot more mature, if you like, that department.
Right, okay. And that helped, did it? You felt like you had a bit more of a rapport with the team in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at your KPIs then, just so you can sort of see how the last 6 months has gone. So I know I gave you a copy of these before you came into the review, so you probably had a chance to look over these then. So we'll just sort of reflect a little bit on what's happened before. So you can see there that we've got all the sort of scores back from June 2011, and you can see your target against your actuals, yeah? So you can see that consistently, you were a fantastic performer, and we've told you that many a times, and that is one of the reasons why we did look to move you, Audrey. You were doing fantastically well. An opportunity came up in the beauty side, and that's why we were hoping that your sort of experience and your ability to deliver great sales results and great KPIs would have transferred across, into the beauty side of the business. But then you can see there, so sort of June 2013, when we last had your review, you were achieving your targets, and in fact we actually gave you a stretch, didn't we, on your sales. We put on another 10,000 to sort of achieve, which you did achieve that. You actually achieved your target there, albeit a little bit behind your previous sales performance in December 2012, but still a great number. But if you can just see there, and so for the last sort of 6 months, the numbers have really sort of gone in the opposite direction. Which is why it's, it is a little bit concerning. So it's interesting to hear some of your views actually on some of the reasons why you feel that moving across to that side has been a bit of a struggle. And I completely understand where you're coming from. I really do. I think that now I've had a chance to hear it from yourself, obviously I completely take on board the team that you're working with being younger, and that must be hard to sort of interact, and like you say, they are a lot younger than you, aren't they, that team? Everything that's gone on in your own personal life, obviously, taken into consideration, probably that's not helped as well, in itself. So what we need to do is, we need to get you back to getting to these numbers and getting you back to where you were brilliant, because you were fantastic, you were one of our better performers, and you've got a great experience working within this team, for this company, sorry. So, what do you think, what would you say? How are we going to get you back to your best? What's the best option to give orders to get her back to being the best?
Well, being totally honest, it would be moving me back to the medical team, because that's what I'm familiar with. I know the product. I've got a brilliant rapport with previous customers. They used to come back to me. But obviously I know that that's probably not feasible right now. So I don't know, maybe some further training.
Excuse me. Okay, so you hit the nail on the head there. I think that perhaps on looking back now, moving you to this department was, in the intentions were there. They thought that it would be the right thing for you to do, to give you a bit of a stretch, to get you to work with a different team. It did take you out of your comfort zone a little bit. And at the time we did it, we felt that you were a little bit repressed. You weren't really yourself at the time anyway. So we thought maybe the change would have helped yourself. Clearly that hasn't quite worked out as well as we'd liked, Now, at the moment, I am in a situation where I've got the right number of people in each team, So moving you immediately is going to be quite a challenge, What I'd like to do is actually give you a bit more training, So while you're still working within the beauty team, there is some more training courses that have become available that I think I'd like to put you on, I'm going to make sure that we get some time jotted down that I'll come and help you and support you as well, And there's someone that I'm actually looking to develop within the team that I'd like to spend a bit of one-to-one with you, just to maybe give you a bit of a support with the product, give you some tips and hints, because they are hitting their targets. It'd be great to see if they can come and support you, just around the product, so you've got a bit more familiarity. And I know you've been given that already, but I think it's important that we really sort of put a bit of focus on this so we can get you back up to where you were 6 months, a year ago. However, would you like it that if a position did become available in the medical, that you would be given first refusal? Yeah? Okay, so we can look at that. Good. And I feel what I'd also like to do is that I'd like to review in 3 months' time. So rather than waiting 6 months, I think I'd like to review in 3 months. So if nothing's become available in the medical team at that moment in time, and you're just still not getting the product, or it's just still not for you working this department, gives me 3 months to hopefully identify someone from the medical side that perhaps would like to come and work for the beauty side. So we could look at maybe doing a switch. How does that sound? Would that be something that you'd be looking to work towards? Good. Now, just last little bit from me. So, based on your sort of current performance, what sort of bonus were you thinking of? Were you expecting? How do you think that was going to?
Well, to be honest, I don't feel that when I moved across, the KPIs were, very fair, because they were still the same as what they were in a when I worked for the medical department.
Okay.
And obviously it's a completely new product that
Yeah.
I'm selling. You know, I've had a bit of training on it, but I'd worked in the last department for 4 years, so I
Sure.
knew everything.
Yeah.
So obviously my calls are going to be a lot quicker. You know, I'm going to be able to resolve things much quicker for people.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to think about things in this new department. You know, it's not a fact that I'm not giving my all. I am trying,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm just not completely familiar with the product that I'm selling.
Okay.
So to have the same KPIs as I did in my previous team, I felt was a bit unfair and a bit unrealistic.
I take that on board. That's a good point to raise actually. If you look, you are set the same KPIs as you previously were. So I completely understand that. I think that there is a little bit of work as well, because you accepted it yourself that, you know, your performance hasn't been as good as previous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate.
Yeah, in the last couple of months, so I feel that it has drilled it in a little bit more.
Sure.
Obviously this is over a 6-month period, so it is going to be lower when I first joined the team.
Yeah.
But in the last few months, I feel that, you know, it has improved a little bit.
Okay.
So I mean, like I said, it's still at early doors in the department. So yeah, I do feel it's a little bit unfair that I'm not going to be getting a very, you know, healthy bonus.
Okay.
Which I'm used to.
Yeah, yeah. No, I fully understand that. I'll take that on board because you're right. You know, the KPIs, we've got to take into consideration that you have moved departments. There's been a little bit of getting used to that, settling in, new customers, etc. Yeah. So I did kind of think about that a little bit myself before you came in, and I was thinking that if we were to give you 30% of your bonus, would that be something that, you know, would you feel that would be sufficient enough then, based on the fact that, you know, really with the results it wouldn't be as high as that, but I've put a little bit more on as a sort of understanding that you've been a great performer. You have moved departments, so you know, compared to where you were, I think that'd be fair and realistic. Would that be okay with you? Yeah. Okay. Good. So, excellent. All right. Well, listen, it's been really good talking to you. I think that, you know, there's got some real clear understanding now as to perhaps where you are in terms of how you feel with the move to the new department. Take on board what you're saying about, you know, working with the team, etc., making, you know, being challenging. But I think it's still important that we give you that extra training. Yeah, because I think that if you get that, your confidence might grow and you might find yourself getting a bit of a flow, getting a bit familiar with it. Because 6 months, 8 months in the department probably still isn't quite long enough to sort of really settle in. Yeah. However, if something were to come up in the medical team, I appreciate that's where your experience is, and that's where you could probably be more beneficial to the company as well. Yeah. So if anything does come up in that period, we'll obviously call you in and give you that opportunity to take to first refusal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we'll see you again in 3 months. Yeah. See how things have gone. Get this extra training. Hopefully we can start moving on. And if not, we'll have to start talking about potentially seeing if someone can switch across them. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll review it again in 3 months. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, Audrey. All right. And seeing me. And we'll speak again soon.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.